Welcome to Kickstarter Radio 102.4, and I'm Lipstickpaddy, your host for today, and we are looking at Sea of Legends. Now, before we go to the highlight reel, just to let you know that after the highlight reel, we're going to come back to the top, and we're just going to talk about the elephants in the room. There's more than one elephant to talk about before we jump to the Kickstarter page. And one of those is the game we looked at yesterday. We'll give you more information on that as we come back after the highlight reel. So let's go to the highlight reel first, and then we'll be back to tell you more of the news surrounding this game. So enjoy. Now, Sea of Legends, and look at this on the first day, already blasted through its funding, and it's already at 1,000 backers. Props to the team here. Obviously here it's using an artistic license, so forget about historical accuracy here. Now, so here it is on the table, and I've gotta say there's a few things here that I need to say. Firstly, look at the app. The board doesn't look big enough. Notice the box here. I don't know why there's no player board. You've got so many people working on this game and they never spotted that. Plus this money. Are you kidding me? Look at this money. It looks... Why are all the minis characters? Oh, what? Mainly water here, so what is going on here? See here, the hero characters on the board. They look weird as if they're floating. It has 5 years guaranteed to keep up. These card art, you can see the background to the characters looks. So there's less role play in this game. 40 minutes of player, you can see here with 4 players, 3 hours. $65 on for the extra combat, for the extra whatnot. And I'm highlighting things that other people are not talking about because they're mainly paid previews and they're not allowed to put criticism over that. Huge team on this game. The wages alone of putting the price up in this box really is. And you've got all those artists, and all you've got is this cover. 400 unique stories. You'll never play the same game twice. Fingers crossed. Procedural generation and all that. So this is a Kickstarter exclusive. Make no bones about it. There's no way we are going to know if the procedural generation is as good as they say, because the dice-driven combat. If you fail your roll die, you're punished. And there's this dialogue you've got to go through while everybody's twiddling their thumbs. It is fairly limited. Strange denizens of the Caribbean. The Sea of Legend app will take note. And potentially your quests are non-character specific, which stinks. Beta rulebook. We'll look at this when we get to the bottom of the page, and I'm telling you, no, it is not beta. It's alpha. It is the worst. I'm telling you now, the heat in the studio is at 46 Celsius. And Captain Kahina. And they're coming from your favorite mini company, Easter. Base is looking a little bit drab and bare. Like Captain Spell here. I love her outfit. The role-playing aspects of your character is very slim. And we've got the British Empire too, which are floating on water with their cannons and their people. It's so bizarre. These NPCs are quite interesting because they will start to move on the board, and if they go to a certain point on the board, they will summon the big monster here. The worst tokens I've seen. Serious lack of design going on here. Is it an omission? Is it deliberately basic so you buy the gold token add-on? Bit disappointing. Captain Lou holding a rocket launch. Interesting on the cards though, they are the Aztecs, but here on the minis it's like the golems. It's like an 800-hour campaign. Beyond the game's impressive technological underpinnings, the gameplay of Sea of Legends is really well done. And what's his weapon? Smell. He just stinks people to death. Well, shiver me timbers, this is the rulebook. Arr! I mean, I said it was an alpha, that it was in white box phase, but it's not even got there yet. There are no optional buys or add-ons for Sea of Legends, but colour me interested. Go Sea of Legends. Kind of has a large shadow over it because of the elephants in the room we talked about at the start of the video, but it has 29 days to prove itself, so it's not quite there for me yet, but there is hope here. There is hope. Can we recommend it? Not yet. Now, the elephants in the room then. Let's start with elephant number 1, and it's the game we looked at yesterday, and it's Adventures in Neverland, which is also a pirate adventure game. Now, this game, if you've seen our video, is a beautiful story game with branching storylines, and all of the stories have been pre-baked. And it's a competitive story game, so you are racing against the other people at the table to finish off your story, and there's multiple stories you can go through, whereas Sea of Legends is doing something different. So if I bring up the first thing here from the comment system on Kickstarter, it says this is Sea of Legends. Each game is a standalone experience, so each game will be narratively rich, where you'll be completing stories within the game. However, storylines do not continue into your next game. That means it's not legacy. But you will start and experience new stories when you play again. It says, at the beginning of the game, you're handed 3 characters at random, blah, 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 blah. Then it goes into some controversy here, and it says, it is up to the player if they want to have a same-sex relationship or not. Now, this caused a little bit of a spat in the comments. Some people actually stopped back in the game because of it. Here's the response though. Yeah, you get to choose. All our characters are pansexual, it turns out. Now, this is obviously jumping on the progressive bandwagon, which is a political hot potato. And can you tell me of any pirate movie in Hollywood that has any kind of LGBTQ plus in it? Because to my mind, in the time pirates were around, there weren't any that I'm aware of. Please tell me in the comments. But so for this game to be jumping, what seems to be jumping on the bandwagon, is a little bit awkward. It really is a bit of awkward, and really did they need to do this? So this is another elephant in the room. It is progressive in its political stance. So the game is already political, even though you don't even know what you're doing yet in the game. It's got a political note to it. Talking about languages here, it's only in English because you can see here it is procedurally generating the adventure dialogue. That's correct. The app in the game, this is an app-driven game, it is not pre-baked story, it is a not pre-baked dialogue. It is a procedurally generated dialogue. Now, my experience with these, just to say, is in the video game industry. And a good example of this is if you play a Bethesda game like Skyrim or the Fallout series, when you finish the main pre-baked storyline, the open world nature of the game has procedurally generated missions and dialogue. And I can tell you now that they always fail to warrant your interest in playing that game further, because the procedural generation is nowhere near as good as the pre-baked stuff. And with over 400 stories in Sea of Legends, then how it's all been put together procedurally has me worried. It does have me worried. And because it's procedurally generated, it's using the rules of English grammar, which means it's almost impossible for it to go over to a different language because of the grammar rules in each thing. So you're screwed if you don't speak English. I'm sorry, this game, the way it's been designed, is you got to speak English. So there you go. So yeah, procedural generation is a little bit of a worry. Now, the other thing I want to talk about here is Adventures in Neverland, because for table presence, let me just show you the map of Adventures in Wonderland. It is a beautiful map, and this is the base map. It's not the bigger neoprene map that you can get in the add-on. This is the basic. It's 550 by 800 millimeters. If I photo image over the top the board game Sea of Legends, you can see here how small it is. It really is, and I'll talk more about this as we go to the Kickstarter. I just want to show you how small this is, but this is at an isometric level, and you can't really see it here properly how big they are. So if we jump to the Mona Lisa card from this is from Museum Pictora, game we covered on the channel. You can see here the Mona Lisa. She's in scale here with the beautiful art of coming from the team at Holy Grail. So you can see kind of the size of the Mona Lisa here. She is a 77 by 54. Let's put the Sea of Legends board over the Mona Lisa. Yeah, okay. There she is. There she is. There's the board. Fairly small. You can see the hand there. It is small. And let's put Adventures in You Know What on it. Massive. Look, it's even bigger than the Mona Lisa, the map size. You can really see how big it is. And if you go for the neoprene mat, it scales out to the frame that you're looking at here, even bigger. So the game board completely eclipses the Sea of Legends board. And for me, board presence is a big thing. So coming out the bat, Adventures in Wonderland is doing a lot more for me because it's got pre-baked stories that have branching storylines and also has a massive board. Really does have a massive board. Now, there's one last elephant in the room that I want to talk about. This time we're back on Sea of Legends. We're keeping it on the video, keeping it real. And you might notice this on the splash screen, but it has a massive team. An absolute massive team. It kind of worries me. 19 writers. Oh my god. 19 writers. Now, I have experience of a multi-written story game, video game. It's Star Wars The Old Republic. There's 8 characters you can pick, and each story, whether it's a Jedi Master or a Sith sorcerer, they all have each story. There's 8 stories, all written by different writers. And there's only 2 out of the 8 that are fantastic. There's one of them which is very, very poor. Yeah, ask me in the comments if you're interested in Star Wars The Republic, my opinion on that. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, when the procedural generation is throwing you one of these writers, throwing you a story from writer A and then throwing a bit of writer B in here, you are going to get a story that is hit and miss. And in all the reviews that are coming out for Sea of Legends, they all say, when you replay this game, there is a high chance of you getting a quest that you've never seen before. But they never continue that sentence and say, but there is also the same chance of you getting the same story again, the same thing, the same dialogue, because it's kicking it out of the procedural generation. And unless you've tested all 400 stories, you don't know if 19 writers has been successful or not, because I can tell you the SWTOR team from the AAA publishers EA failed using 8 writers. They really did. The other thing, 14 artists. Now, we've seen in the board game industry lots of artists being used. One of these was the Parks game, the card game that had all of the national parks across the United States, using lots of artists, and the art director magically had them all pumping out art as if it was from the one artist. That was really good, so we'll have to see when we go to the Kickstarter page. So yeah, here are the big things then, just to wrap up what we're saying here. we've got number 1, massive competitor on the market, Adventures in Wonderland, that has a much bigger map, greater table presence. We've looked at the size of the map. It is pretty bad. Then you've got the other elephant in the room, which is procedural generation and the LGBTQ political progressive thing that they are mentioning in the comments, which has backers pulling away from for their own reasons. And do we really need that in board gaming? I don't know. I mean, that's up to you, isn't it? If you're a progressive backer or you don't care about that or whatever, but you know, it is there. So there's a lot of heat going in here, and yeah, as these Kickstarters flesh out all of their content, I may do a Adventures in Wonderlands versus Sea of Legends to do a verse or other, so you can do that, but that'll be closer to the end of the campaigns. Might be 7 days to go in Adventures in Wonderland. It's got another 22 days, so maybe in 2 weeks I'll do a this Kickstarter versus that Kickstarter in this one, because they're so similar in theme. All right, have I wasted your time here? All right, let's jump to the Kickstarter then, and I won't be as negative as I've been here. There is some great things with Sea of Legends, so let's crack on to the Kickstarter. Hold your horses there, Lipstickpaddy. We have an important message coming in from the studio, so let's get to it right now. Kickstarter Radio 102.4 does not stand still. It is constantly evolving. Our Saturday show has just been upgraded to the newest, skinniest version, where we only look at the games we covered in the week in a new, skinnier format. Also, our live show on Sunday has been trimmed off the fat too, and we look at games that we could not cover in the week that are full of promise too. And also, we will be covering all the interesting and cool games that are worth your attention, so it is worth subscribing to this channel just to see all that we offer. So why not subscribe and make this channel even better, as we have a ton of social stretch goals, so this channel gets bigger, better, and better for you, the viewer that loves Kickstarters. So if you're bored of retail, this is the YouTube channel made for you. Now, Sea of Legends, and oh, look at this on the first day, already blasted through its funding, and it's already at 1,000 backers. Props to the team here. Oh yes. I do like in this art here that she's holding a baby tiger. It looks so nice. I like that she has a little pet here. And what's interesting is we don't know of what we're looking at. Is it made up by one artist too? Is it a massive collage? I don't know. I really don't know. But it is interesting to see. It is interesting that we have a black pirate here, and pirating was around the time of slavery. So you know, there is obviously here it's using an artistic license. So forget about historical accuracy here. It's doing its own thing, alt history of a swashbuckling narrative, as it says here. Now, so here it is on the table, and I've gotta say there's a few things here that I need to say. Firstly, look at the app on the left here, and it's kind of hiding. Let's say you're playing 4-player, and on my roll I go into the tavern, and it pulls, some event happens where I need to pick up the app. It isn't voiced at the minute, you've got to read it, and all the other 3 players are just sitting there filing their nails while you're reading the story. So there is going to be a bit of downtime. In fact, the team have said there's no way we can push it to 5 players because the downtime gets even worse at 5. So, plus the board doesn't look big enough for 5. I mean, the board, it is fairly small. And if you look at the video reviews of this, you'll notice there is a fold that's blindingly obvious on the prototypes. Notice the box here, it looks small. It looks certainly deep, I'll give it that, but it doesn't look like a wide box, does it? So that unfortunately they've had to fold this and fit into this small box, which I've got to say, the art on the front, I know this is a low-res image, but there's no love for this. No. And in the comments there's people saying, is that the final box art? Are you kidding me? Now, you can see here, there's 3 people sat in this screen. Why they all sat on this side of the table, I don't know. But each person set up here is representing a boat, and I don't know why there's no player board. There's no mention of an add-on for a neoprene map, but it's like so obvious to me that it needs to look like a board. It needs to look like a boat. Now, you can upgrade your ship in this game, and that could easily be done by adding bits to your player board. Oh, man. You've got so many people working on this game, and they never spotted that. Okay. Also, your stretch goals really need to pimp out all of these tokens, because your competition has already blinged them all out on the stretch goals. Admittedly, it's got a week on you, so you know, they've got the wind in their sail already. You're just coming out the gate, so hopefully the stretch goals seem to push that. Plus this money. Are you kidding me? Look at this money. It looks poo-poo. Hopefully this is just a teaser at the beginning of the campaign and it evolves into a beast. The devs themselves have said in the comments, we cannot wait to show you what we've got through the campaign. So yeah, this is going to deserve me to come back to it to see what it is like, and we'll definitely do the big comparison with its Adventures in Neverland, which is the big competitor. Isn't it funny? It is absolutely a coincidence that we pulled these together on the Monday and the Tuesday. It really is, but as fate has had it, this is how it has been. Another strange thing here is most of the tiles here are over ocean. Why are all the minis characters? Can they not have their own ship? I mean, you could have done really big ships. You could have done giant ones here, because your tiles look very large, and it would have been nice to have that. But instead, you've just gone with characters as if they're on land. But it's all mainly water here, so what is going on here? Ooh. There is some stuff going on with the pledge levels that give you some boats, but I mean, you can see here the hero characters on the board. They look weird, as if they're floating. I mean, come on, it looks weird. Custom dice though, which is good to see. And yes, maybe they will bring a neoprene mat out, which will be bigger. But again, if it brings a neoprene mat out and it's bigger, the minis don't scale, do they? So it can maybe only scale 10%, but I'll take it! I'll take it! I'll even take 10%! And of course your competition's doing double-sided board, which I don't think you can do because your procedural generation is locked into this map, and it would be another headache to program in another board. So there is that. They've already, you know, in its design, they wanted to have an app, and the app has crippled them in some ways, and that is certainly one of them. So there we go. There's multi things to the app, obviously. There's plus and minuses to it. It's not black and white. It's definitely a grey issue. And I just want to discuss a grey issue with the app here. It has 5 years guaranteed to keep up. And in 5 years of the game coming out, it will then go open source. I really would want it to come to Steam on Windows, because you know it's going to be there forever if it's on Steam. And obviously people can write stories in this. Maybe it's not obvious if you've not looked at this campaign, but if it was on Steam and you allow people to mod it, that's a way of adding stories and really lengthening the game time, because 5 years and then it's going open source. Well, where's it going to go then? There's so much in this image. This is just showing you how detailed we're talking here. These card art, you can see the background to the characters looks copy paste. We've got lazy background art which doesn't sell me the art at all. Look at this beautiful board. You could have the beautiful ocean in the background, beautiful palm trees from an island, a poet in the background. This could all look fantastic, and you've gone for this imagery with no theme on the background. Now, there is, apparently this game is dripping with theme, but in my, it's kind of, you can throw characters off you can make them walk the plank and kick them off your boat if you want to get a different member of your boat. Oh, that's very thematic. Well, cliche. Obviously the app is talking in pirate language, so the theme coming from that, and that's going to be making the translation difficult too. So yeah, I'm not sold on the art, and so there's less role play in this game than the other game. I'm going to try and stop comparing it, but it is difficult because because it was filmed yesterday. Yep. The characters here do have a light level up, you'll see. And there is interesting gameplay afoot here, which we'll talk about as we go down, because you're probably sick of looking at this screen already. Ages 14 to plus, okay. Players 1 to 4, yes. And 40 minutes a player. You can see here with 4 players. Oh, it's long, isn't it? It's looking at 3 hours. Yeah. 3 hours where there's a lot of downtime because your other player is reading the app. Now you can $1 back it. This is great. So if you did want to get the 2 pirate games that I covered this week, which is, totally you could do that. But if you want to balance the books to do that, you can $1 pledge both of them, which is great. It is great. Now there's the $90 pledge. This is giving you a lot of good stuff here. In fact, you can see there's no basic pledge here. They're giving you these expansions in the $90 pledge. There is, of course, the all-in pledge, and that is a huge pledge. Suddenly jumps up, doesn't it? I mean, it's like you're adding $65 on for the extra combat, for the extra whatnot. Which most of the backers have gone for this. There's obviously a lot of buzz around this game, and I'm highlighting things that other people are not talking about because they're mainly paid previews and they're not allowed to put criticism over that. So this needs metal coins big time. But I mean, hey man, if you go neoprene matte and you've got coins as an add-on, this is getting close to $200, isn't it? Oh no! So yeah, problems coming out the gate. And if you're wondering why it's so expensive, well, there is a huge team on this game. The wages alone are putting the price up in this box. Really is. And you've got all those artists, and all you've got is this cover. So yeah, I mean, we're way off. We're way off. We understand this. This is still early on the campaign, and things are subject to change. And so there is that, of course. But if you have an interest here, you can $1 pledge and go on the ride as they show you all the updates through its campaign, and you can up the pledge as soon as you see the game becoming what you hope it fulfills the promise that the Kickstarter has on it. Now, it's supposed to be a little bit of a lightweight story and whimsical in its nature, and doesn't take itself too seriously, and you can raid ports, bury treasure, fall in love. Don't mention that one again, please. And defeat your nemesis. This is part of the gameplay. We'll talk about that when we go down. It says here your decisions will make waves throughout the campaign, throughout the Caribbean, as each player takes part in shared adventures woven together by your companion app. 26 writers, 400 unique stories. You'll never play the same game twice. Fingers crossed. Procedural generation and all that. Yep. It's funny, isn't it? Because if I play this game, let's say I'm playing it solo, and then my wife cracks it out for her playgroup, and she plays a unique story, and I go to the game, I'm not going to get that story because the procedural generation said it's already been used. So hopefully the app addresses this, where we can say to the app, hey, I'm not playing, this is my game. There is a second different group playing the other game, so the quest I'm doing, they can play that quest, as an example. I don't want the app doing stuff like that. Do you understand? Anyway, I'm guessing the app has work still to do. Why back now? This is a Kickstarter exclusive, make no bones about it. It's coming to the web store, of course. You might get it at a convention, but it is not coming to retail, is its plan at the minute. If you back now, you'll save 20 on the gameplay pledge and 35 on the all-in pledge. That maybe talks about the price will go up on their own web store. So that's what it's kind of talking about here. And it does say help us shape the game. So they are open to feedback. They are trying to make this the best game possible, which is good to see that the team has love around it. You know, talking about all these artists and talking about all these writers, there is 3 game designers on this team. So they're trying to build the world with you. Now the base pledge comes with 13 unique sculpts, lots of minis, cards, adventures. If you go for the all-in, which is the second box, it goes to 800 adventures. Now, another thing here is, when you're playing the game can end when certain things happen. And one of them is to get 10 notoriety wins. These are potentially events that you're doing in the game, possibly quests and stuff like that. But if someone's on 9 notoriety and someone's on 5, you know, there's a little bit of a race going on here. And how unfulfilling is it going to be not to finish your story? Or is it going to be, it was procedurally generated and it weren't worth it anyway? I don't think we can... there's no way we are going to know if the procedural generation is as good as they say, because the testers on YouTube that are paid previews, they are getting a limited experience of the game. So 800 adventures that it will be procedurally generating, not just the story but the dialogue. The dialogue also gets procedurally generated. All right, you can attack, you can visit a port, or you can go on an adventure. And it's dice driven combat. And it looks like if you fail your roll die, you're punished. Oh yeah, you're punished. There's no way of, you know, getting a reroll. It's competitor. Your characters can upgrade to do rerolls. So that game has mitigation on the dice. This game, no mitigation. No. Now you do select 2 characters at the beginning, your nemesis and your potential lover. And there are going to be quests on the board to complete the lover quest or complete the nemesis quest. It says the nemesis though is going to interfere with you, so you might want to do that as quick as possible, is what the playgroups are saying. So yeah. Also, your people on your ship, if they're used, you tap the card, you turn it 90 degrees, and you can't use them until they've rested. So you're going to be going back to your hideout quite a lot just to rest your team or your crew. Fancy a new vessel? Well, yeah, but there's no board, is there? There's no player board. If you just think of Isle of Cats, that beautiful boat player board that they had, just adapt something that big for this game with your crew to go on, and oh yeah. I mean, this is Kickstarter. This is where miracles happen, and asking for a player board, is that something we really need to ask? Is it not obvious? So here we are then. This is the app, and you can see here the text is... Come on, what is it with these GIFs? Just put a YouTube link in here. You can see it's already, the GIF has made it low quality. You can see the interlacing fuzz that's going on here as it's compressed it. Anyway, look, he goes to send 1. You have to tell it which captain's there, then you go continue, and then you're pressing through, and there's this dialogue you've got to go through while everybody's twiddling their thumbs. And you're trying to blast through it as much as possible. Pass the app. Pass the app. It says here, each adventure is part of a larger branching narrative. Now this goes against what they're saying, that this is not a legacy game. How can you have a branching narrative that continues on the app? What they are trying to say here is, if you fulfill a story, this one of the writers may have done a five quest story, and if you procedurally do the first quest, that means that part 2 quest will update on what you did in the first section of that story. So that's where the branch is what the branch is doing. But it's fairly limited. It is fairly limited. And these adventures are supposed to give you the best loot anyway, you know. So these are always going to be what you're going to be wanting to do. But really, the branch is going to be short because to fit all the writers in, the branching stories need to be short. These could be helping your lover out of a jam, or hunting down your nemesis, or even befriend the strange denizens of the Caribbean. You can find gold, items, notoriety, and other unique rewards. But whatever you choose, the Sea of Legend app will take note and connect your stories with these of the other players at the table. This could be as simple as a shop, only having one item in it, you buy it. The other players can't buy it now. That's a very simple way of saying your story will connect to another player. It doesn't give me the feeling though that this is a story-driven competitive game. It doesn't give me that feeling, because my story is not unique. You could have my story. That's how it is. We don't yet know is if stories are linked to characters in the game. We don't know that. But if you play multiple sessions, if you stay with the same pirate, all those quests are just being thrown at you, procedurally generating, and potentially your quests are non-character specific, which stinks. You know, if you look at Time of Legends Destinies, that game has your unique story with your character. If we look at yesterday's game, The Big Elephant, that has character specific stories. In the sandbox game, there are multiple paths to victory. You can hunt down relics, battle monsters, build your very own pirate empire. It's up to you, but you can bet your dusty balloons that your rival won't give up without a fight. If you're raring for a shot at the pirate's life, take a look at our beta rulebook and prepare for your maiden voyage. Now, the beta rulebook. We'll look at this when we get to the bottom of the page, and I'm telling you, no, it is not beta. It's alpha. It is the worst complete rulebook I've seen. In fact, it's still on a Word document, and it's basic. It's alpha. In the video game industry, it's in white box phase. Yeah. Just prepare you for that. We'll be going through the rulebook very quick. It's that section. It's going to be very quick. There be treasure here. I am telling you now, the heat in the studio is at a 46 Celsius. Ooh. I'm going through pain here. Alright, you can see the minis here, and oh, Captain Kahina. She looks cool, doesn't she? Sat on some kind of interesting seat from 1960 kind of design. I do like the mini though, it's kind of evolved from the concept art here. You can see her hat is more detailed. I like her dreadlocks coming out the top. The gun looks really cool. I love that they've got the jewellery in. Of course, this is prototype. We don't know if it's going to print out like this, and especially the ribbon coming from her hand, how that's going to translate to the moulding process. They are 32mm, and they're coming from your favourite mini company, Easter! Yeah, the controversial miniature company, Easter. Well, Easter they are the miniature people that do Come On and Awaken Realm games, and they have been heavily criticised over the quality. Wolfenstein is using Easter, and they said specifically that they are upping the quality of their minis by going for super hard plastic. Now, here though, what's the name of the plastic? I keep thinking ribs, bibs, tibs, libs, something like that. I'll put it up. JR Editor, can you put up what the high quality minis are? Oh no, it's hips. It came to me. It's hips. Maybe I've got past the editor. There we go. It came to me. Hips plastic. So this could be just the standard model plastic that Come On do, which could mean, another compromise that we're looking at here. Captain Caesar. Now he's looking nice as well. The base is looking a little bit drab and bare. I like that he's got a peg leg. Do you like that? Come round, let's have a look at his peg leg. Does it look big enough to hold his weight? I mean, he looks very burly, doesn't he? He's got really big hands as well. It looks like he's got lots of rings, as if he's holding the glove of Marvel. That thing. I like Captain Spell here. I love her outfit, the baby tiger, which makes it into the mini. Fabulous. I love her accessories. She has books belted to her leg. Potions, looks like it's scrolls is what it is. I was going to say Molotov cocktails though. I like how she's got her corset. I like the corset look that she has. And yeah, she looks very stylized, very nice. Captain Ton, check this buff guy out. He's looking very, very big, isn't he? Look at those tattoos though, you're going to have to paint them on yourself. Oh, that's going to be a challenge. It's worth taking on. And he's got a giant club. Now, Captain Kana, she's looking dynamic. She's like, eat my gun, looking away as she shoots you. You've got Captain Caesar, who's kind of using his Jedi forces to do something. Captain Spell's getting ready to throw a potion. She's maybe saying, you better do what I say or I'm going to throw this at you. Captain Ton here looks like he's not dynamic at all, does he? He looks like he's potentially sunbathing. So, you know, get him holding that thing out. Also, Captain Spell, look at her shoe. See her stiletto shoe? How thin that is? Easter, I worry Easter because they have trouble with these finer details of the models and all that stuff. The lovers and the nemesis, they're using Terra Size, which seems to be a theme this week. The competition are doing Terra Size too. Notice some levels up here, level 1 and level 2, so they can get levels up, but it's very light, isn't it? The role-playing aspect of your character is very slim. It really is slim. And the background that they're using for the nemesis, this red kind of curtain, and the lover one with this green, that looks weak tea. It really does. You've got the taverners here. You could have the look of a pub in the background. The irreversible, he could be just coming outside of a salon, hair salon. Prince of Thieves with a cave behind him. The royal assassin in the shadows of a town. The smith with the smith behind her. Come on. The ill-tempered. They could be on a port. The masked noble standing on a ship or an expensive house behind him. The Duchess of Orleans. Yeah, I don't know where she could be. I don't know. But you get what I'm saying. They should have a bit of theme in the picture. When you've got these cards in front of your non-player board, they should look like it's thematic. Anyway. Factions here. The Spanish Armada. These are the NPCs roaring around. And we've got the British Empire too, which are floating on water with their cannons and their people. It's so bizarre. Now, you can see these minis here are carbon copies of each other, which is not great. Even the galleons here, which are a little bit unfortunate. Children of Talok. These NPCs are quite interesting because they will start to move on the board, and if they go to a certain point on the board, they will summon the big monster here, and that's going to be a pain to take down, and it might turn semi-co-op because it's going to be a pain for everybody. So the competitive nature may change to semi-co-op when these monsters come out. So you've got to be careful about these NPCs. Again, the undead summoners are going to summon this giant Colosseum monster here, and you've got to take them out. So the NPCs that it's to really slow down from you just beelining your story. They are completely there to mess up what you're doing and try and get you to change your strategy on because of the threat that's appearing on the board, and because the board's quite tight and small, you're gonna have to sort this stuff out that's going on. Tavern cards, there's kind of events going on here. You can see a spitting contest, there's going to be drinking competitions and all that kind of stuff you can think of. You can also hear like rumors going on, potential quests you can pick up here. Crew cards, the gunner with the... Just again, it's like really, you've got so many artists. What are they doing? What are the artists doing? Look at your cards. The back of the card art is so plain Jane. It really is. I am not a fan of these cards at all. I really am not, I'm afraid. Anyway, custom dice. The tokens here, just got the heroes on. Gold tokens, which looking the worst tokens I've seen. Serious lack of design going on here. Is it an omission? Is it deliberately basic so you buy the gold token add-on? Nemesis tokens, flag tokens, notoriety tokens. There's going to be a bunch of tokens by the side of the board, and these are all small and fiddly. Oh yeah, they are. Now you get what you see the rulebook here. It does not look like that when we look at the beta. Alpha! Alpha. And so here we are then. This is the game board. When I did the analysis of the board game size, I did convert it all to centimeters, and it is a worry for me. I like the board game to be big on the table, but you know, hey, I've got a 2x2 meter table with chairs 2x2x2x2 around it, 8-player table 2x2, 2 meters by 2 meters. So having a little piddly thing in the middle. We wanna see a neoprene mat that's bigger. I do like the art though. I like all the colours of the ocean. That is great. Is this cloud that's coming in here? That's kind of weird. It's kind of strange that you're using realistic places though. You've got Jamaica and Cuba, the bottom of Florida here. I don't know. Do you want to go for realism on your alt history, or do you want to go with a completely thematic and original with the Peter Pan, you know, the Adventures of Neverland? That's going to have its archipelago other side to the board. Can't wait to see that. There's lots of interesting things to see, and definitely want to know where this game is going as they reveal stuff. So we're only at the base here, we're only day one, so it's going to need to revisit. Get up there, press that reminder. You can see we already have it saved. We want to follow this progress as we keep going, and which one's going to get the back, because we can only back one. Is our rule. We can't have two games that are the same-ish. It has to, if it's going to the same theme, it has to do something completely different, and these are both, you know, the two pirate games this week are all narrative adventures. The additional captains here. I do appreciate the rotation on the minis though. This looks nice. And card wise, same complaint about them looking, you know what. Now if you look at Captain Grinwald here, his sword looks plain on the mini, but here there's some kind of smoke coming off it. Really cool. In fact, the mini has a bit of the smoke going on there, but look at this giant lizard on his shoulder. Looks cool, doesn't it? Watch as it goes round on the back of him. A great mini. The sculpt designers have really knocked it out of the park. Captain Jack here, I like how her blade is coming down on the base. That looks cool. I love the feathers in her hat. The hat here on the concept art is pronounced, this hole here. It looks like it's not so much on the mini. That could just be, we can't really see the mini though, that could be just that. Captain Matchlock here with his swords / guns. They look very cool. Love his dynamic cape. and his belt with more pistols inside. He looks super cool. If you look at his beard, it's kind of following his shirt like a tie on the mini. It's a bit disappointing. Captain Lou holding a rocket launcher. Well, if you're going to have alt history, you might as well bring some modern day stuff. Well, I guess it's a cannon. She doesn't look like she could lift up a cannon on her own, but it looks like a rocket launcher. Additional factions here now, so Odd or Notorious. Can we see on these pledges, where are we at? Okay, so this is the upper pledge now, the Odd or Notorious. So from here on out, it's going to be showing the contents of the All-In Pledge. Giant mini, looking fantastic. The Aztec Reawakening, massive. This is the only one with an amazing base. Look at this. And 110 mil. That's epically big. I do like this one. Interesting on the cards, though. They are the Aztecs. But here on the minis, it's like the golems. It doesn't kind of balance with the cards and the minis. It's weird. Sea Fury. I do like this one. It is nice. Dogs of the Water. Pretty cool. Harpy's Descent. This looks very early in concept because we've not got the minions, have we? We just got the one Harpy. But maybe, is this just one boss? You don't get anything else? The last of her kind, she has nothing left but the thrill of the hunt and the call to the sea. So you've got 400 or 800 quests, and in all those quests you're going to be seeing the same factions coming and going in the game. Talking about the app here, procedural, it integrates characters and storylines from MC. So if you've got let's say you're playing this solo and you go for the all-in and you've got 800 quests to go through, that means 800 play times. That's like an 800-hour campaign. You know, Gloomhaven gets criticised for its 100 quests, and this one has 800. You're never going to see the same game twice. That's the hope. 2 games really caught my eye at PAX U. Sea of Legends is one of them. What was the other? It's a strange one to put up that. There are so many different ways for players to win or lose. I doubt that any 2 games will be the same. You see, he doubts that the 2, but we don't know. We don't know. Beyond the game's impressive technological underpinnings, the gameplay of Sea of Legends is really well done, with quick turns that have meaningful and fun decisions. Well, quick turns if you're not picking up the app. Sea of Legends has the potential to be something truly special. Consider this one of my most anticipated Kickstarters of 2020. As the artwork and minis sparkled my imagination, instantly creating opportunities for me to imagine myself sailing the high seas. Well, your mini's not sailing, they're walking across water. This is looking like a cinematic romp that you should entertain the swashbuckler in you. Okay. Yeah, you've got quite a loopy here doing 2-player. You'll see a good fun with this team. In fact, they're all worth having a look here just to see how the different stories come out of the app. You'll see some examples of the... I hate saying this word. Procedurally generated content. This one looks... Is that in English? Zapovice? Alright, more booty awaits. The stretch goals. More tavern cards. 5 of them. Not bad. A hunter who's wearing a shark head. I hope that's been in formaldehyde because it would be smelly. It's pretty cool. What's he holding in his hand? What's his weapon? Smell. He just stinks people to death. I don't know. Faction upgrade. So we're starting to see some of the tokens getting upgraded, and this is a must. You've got big competition. You're on the high seas, big competition. You're not sailing alone. There's more than one pirate game that's doing adventures. Now it does ship to Mexico. It's not clear where it is here. There's no kind of rest of the world prize, so the kind of, you need to ask them about that, which is a little bit shame. But shipping, there you go. I don't know if some of this is going to be bad. This is their first Kickstarter, so if you want to help the team by you know, telling them what your favorite shipment company is, maybe they can lower the country down where you are. It is their first Kickstarter, so, and that's helping them. If you tell them another fulfillment center, then do indeed. All right, so here are the 3 designers. It looks like Jordan and Zach are the Wiseman brothers. Or is that a coincidence? They have their last name Wiseman. Get ready, here's the writing team. Here's the artists. Lots of them. Lots of them. Look at them all. Oh my god. This seems to be... This could have been a nightmare to manage all this stuff going in here. Right, we're at the bottom of the campaign. Let's go to the rulebook after this important message from the station.
The next social stretch goal on KiS 102.4 is the 250 subscriber. Subscribe today and unlock new music that will change the music in all the videos in the future. You could be part of the evolution.
Well, shiver me timbers, this is the rulebook. Arr! I mean, I said it was an alpha, that it was in white box phase, but it's not even got there yet. Hey man, this is just an in word. Well, you know, it is what it is. Let's keep going. Let's make it double page just to really annoy people. There we go. So you're opening the page up, and we're seeing setup. We definitely should see the board on the table on the setup. It should be double page spread, and that needs to be in here. You can see your cards here, the layout on the table, and you need a board. You need a board. Is it going to be an add-on? They've said they're going to be no add-ons, but neoprene board, ship board. I don't know. It needs it. You got some idea of the ships here. The Farragut. You can upgrade your ship here, and it's basically just changing a card on your player section. Not that great, is it? Player actions here, talking about dice rolling. And man, you are going to be dice rolling for a lot of things. Performing a challenge, whether it's combat or adventure. You're going to be rolling dice. You can add more dice to your roll, yes. And bonus dice are going to be determined by cannons. Captain abilities, it says, is items, lovers, and crew. So yeah, just getting more die, but you still can have bad luck. Totally, the RNG in this game cannot be mitigated There's kind of light abilities here. For example, it says heavy armored, you gain +2 to dice when you're attacked. Got some interesting card art here. John, Ton, and Axe Fist. They all have the minis, don't they? Do they all have the minis? I can't remember now. But we see the custom dice here. They seem alright. They just look like that it could rub off. They're not etched. They just look like they're screen printed, and because your heat of your hand constantly shaking these, rolling them, you know, that's a worry. Maybe a worry. Talking about the player board here, and the images they've got here, super work in progress, aren't they? They could have cut this from Photoshop to get the close-up of the board, but they've just taken like a photograph of their prototype printout, which is kind of a little bit odd. The NPCs are kind of important as they're controlled and moved, and you get rules on their cards on what's happening, so that's how that brings out. Gives some nice examples here, but again, it's like super text heavy, and you know already that this massive early bird, it's very early. So if you're backing, have a look at this, get suggestions to the team where you want the rulebook to go. Absolutely. Now they've got quick reference here. It'd be nice if they had a quick reference card for the players, and you need an FAQ at the back here just to, you know, all those YouTubers that are playing this game, if they're asking questions to you, that should really go on an FAQ here, or any of your playtesters. And I'm guessing the rulebook's going to get bigger than this, so yeah. And now, a quick look at the FAQ here. It talks about $1 pledge. Yes. Do you need the app to play? Yes. Will the app be supported in the future? Yes. 5 years. A minimum of 5 years. If it is successful, though, you can expect maybe expansions coming. Maybe. Other optional buys and add-ons. There are no optional buys or add-ons for Sea of Legends. There is a base game and all in. Now, we hope that changes, because those coins, dear me, those coins. How do what's the size of your minis? 32. And then obviously your big ones are 50. Was it not a 121? I can't remember, but anyway, there you go. The basic ones are 32. Let's look at the updates while we're here. The more loot, get a better picture here of Ishmael, the Mad Marino. Why would you fall in love with this guy? Yeah, it's talking about the other upgrades. We're getting to see more of the art here. Maybe each character was developed by a different artist. It's not made this clear how the staff was arranged, did they? So there we go. That is Sea of Legends. Obviously got work to do on the rulebook, but it's early days. Early days. Want to see player boards? Yes. Want to see an add-on for coins? Yes. Want to see a bigger map? Please. Not a fan of the art of the cards, and but colour me interested. We've got reminders on this. We're definitely going to be following the campaign as it goes through. Well, there you go. Sea of Legends. It has been an interesting ride through it. Kind of has a large shadow over it because of the elephants in the room we talked at the start of the video, but it has 29 days to prove itself, so yeah, they're going to be releasing more stuff. Can they make this seem like a must-back project? It's not quite there for me yet, but there is hope here. There is hope. They are going to be teasing content over the 30-day campaign, which sounds epic. And yeah, keep your eye on this campaign. Can we recommend it? Not yet. Not yet. Because there's too much compromise going on. There is it. And trust me, when we're backing a project, we want zero compromise. It is as simple as that. And if you ignore all the elephants in the room, the controversy, the art, you ignore all that, the coins. This is you bring it to the table, this is a Kickstarter exclusive, and you give people these coins here, and they go, this was a Kickstarter game. These cardboard coins. You're kidding me, right? Are us Kickstarter people fickle? Are we choosy? Are we very finicky with our projects? Yes, yes, yes! And we're paying top dollar for these games, so we should be. Absolutely. Miracles happen on Kickstarter every day, and there's no reason why this Sea of Legends cannot produce a miracle. 29 days to go, and we'll be returning to find out how good it is. And it'll be in a Sea of Legends versus the Peter Pan Adventures in Neverland. There you go. That'll be probably in 2 weeks, so we'll keep you posted on the channel. Please hit that subscribe to get reminded of when videos go up. And if you got to this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. You rock. No, you've been listening to Kickstarter Radio 102.4. I'm your host, Lipstickpaddy. You take care, stay safe, and bye-bye for now.